Are you serious right now? I stared at her, searching for any hint of a joke, but there was none. Lauren wasn't messing around. She stood in front of me in a new dress, one that I now realized hadn't been bought for me, but for him. Her eyes burned, but not with excitement, not with joy. No, this was something else, a challenge. So, all this time, yes. She cut me off before I could even finish. All this time. And you know what? I'm not sorry. You expect me to apologize? You think I should cry, beg for forgiveness? No, Alex, I won't. I stood there like I'd just taken a hit to the head. My mind refused to process it. I could only look at her, at the new hairstyle, the fresh manicure, the whole damn new life she built. A life where I had no place. And you know what stung the most? It wasn't even the fact that she'd left me for someone else. No, it was how long it took me to understand. At first, I thought she had just decided to change things up. You know how women do that sometimes. New look, fresh start, nothing major. But no, she wasn't changing her image. She was changing her husband. Let's rewind a bit. I bet you're already lost. My name's Alex. I'm 30, though if we're being honest, I look at least 40. You know how it goes. Work, kids, stress, repeat. Lauren's 32, but she looks 25. And that's not a compliment, just a fact. We got married at 20. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. That's way too young. Doomed from the start. But back then, we were convinced it was forever. My parents thought otherwise. They tried to talk me out of it, told me I was being reckless. But love, well, love makes you blind. The first few years, pure romance, just like in the movies. We rented a tiny place, worked hard, dreamed big. Then, the first baby came. Then, the second. Life moved forward. We fought, we made up, we cried, we laughed. You know, like normal people. And then something shifted. Lauren grew irritable at first. I figured it was just exhaustion, kids, work, house chores, the usual grind. But then came the complaints, constant nitpicking. One day I wasn't making enough money. The next, I wasn't paying enough attention to her. And the worst part? The comparisons, always with him. Rayan. At first he was just some old classmate of hers, until he wasn't. Do you even know how much he earns? She'd ask, looking at me like I was the biggest failure on the planet. Do you know what kind of life he has? A car, an apartment, he travels. Yeah? And do you know what he doesn't have? I shot back. Kids. Lauren just snorted and walked away. And me? I was left standing there, feeling like my whole life was slowly crumbling beneath me. And then, one day I decided to confirm my suspicions. Lauren said she'd be working late, but something in my gut told me that was a lie. So I followed my instincts, and they led me straight to Rayan's place. I parked outside his building, my heart pounding so hard, it felt like it might rip through my ribs. I lit a cigarette, inhaled deeply, and thought, maybe I should just turn around. Pretend I don't know. Walk away while I still have some dignity. But I didn't. I went inside, climbed the stairs, knocked, and there she was, Lauren, in his apartment, sitting on the couch, laughing, drinking wine. And do you know what cut the deepest? She looked happy, truly, effortlessly happy. Lauren, I said. When she finally noticed me, she blinked. No guilt, no shame, just indifference. What are you doing here? She asked, like I was some random guest who'd shown up uninvited. I swallowed the lump in my throat. I could ask you the same thing. She just sighed, tilting her head slightly, and then, with the calmest voice in the world, she said, I'm living, Alex. I'm just living. And that was it. After that night, everything collapsed. Like someone had cut the power to our life. And whatever we had spent years building just drained away, disappearing into some black void. Lauren left, just packed her things and walked out. And I was left standing there alone. She didn't scream. She didn't beg. She didn't even try to explain herself. She just left. As if everything we had, years of love, struggles, and shared memories, wasn't even worth a single tear. At first, I told myself it was temporary. You know how it is. Sometimes people leave to clear their heads, to think, to sort things out. But no, Lauren went straight to Ryan. To that Ryan. The so-called perfect, successful, well-off Ryan. The one who, as it turned out, wasn't all that perfect after all. A few months later, I started hearing things. Friends would drop hints, their voices cautious, their eyes wary. Things weren't going great. Turns out Ryan, the guy who loved flaunting his money, his success, his perfect life, wasn't as wealthy as he let on. His business, the one he bragged about every chance he got, was falling apart. The money he showered on Lauren, it ran out faster than she could enjoy her new, supposedly upgraded life. And then, 6 months later, I found myself standing in the kitchen, staring at my phone, my gut telling me exactly what was about to happen. Any minute now, I thought, she's going to call. She's going to say it was all a mistake, that she wants to come back. I was right. Alex ... Her voice was barely above a whisper. I want to come back. I made a mistake. Ryan, he's not who I thought he was. We're living in a tiny apartment on the outskirts. He's drowning in debt. He's constantly on edge. I can't do this anymore. I listened, let every word sink in, but I didn't feel anger, not even resentment, just something else. Something closer to pity, not for her, for us, for the people we used to be. I took a breath, trying to keep my voice steady, though inside, everything was a whirlwind. Lauren, I said, you know I can't just pretend none of this happened. You left me. You left our kids because you thought the grass was greener on the other side. And now that it's turned out to be fake, you want to come back? Yes, I can't do that. Silence. Then, softly, she said, I understand. And then the line went dead. The kids stayed with me. Lauren still sees them, of course, picks them up on weekends, does her best to be a good mom. But it's not the same. Those cozy family dinners, the laughter, the stories shared over a meal, that's gone. And you know what I've realized? Early marriage isn't a death sentence. It's just a choice. If both people are willing to fight for it, to truly put in the work, then it can last. It can be something strong, something real. But the moment one of you starts wondering if there's something better out there, it's over. So if you ever catch yourself thinking the grass is greener somewhere else, think twice. Because sometimes that green grass is just plastic. And real happiness? It was probably right in front of you all along. You just didn't see it. Cheating Secrets podcasts like me,